Hey everyone, today we're going to listen to a video about paying off a mortgage fast. And we're going to talk about those concepts. We're also going to talk about how to live your life while paying that mortgage off. Take a listen to this. It's fascinating.
My wife and I paid off our mortgage in our early 30s. And here's how you can pay off your house early too. You want to put down a strong down payment. 10, 20+% is the best. We put down 45% because we're crazy. Get a reasonable house.
Crazy.
You don't need a mansion.
Let's stop just right there. Crazy. I think that's the key word. I do think that's the key word. Crazy. I want to just talk about that real quick about paying off a mortgage fast. There's nothing wrong with putting a bunch down on a mortgage. Once you have established what your mortgage payment is on the house that you're buying, let's say you're buying a $300,000 house. 40% of that is $120,000. Okay. If you're selling a house and you have $120,000 of equity and you're pulling that from that house to use it on the next one, and assuming you've owned that house for a little period of time, there's probably not going to be any tax ramifications on that money. So it's a choice of whether you should put it down or not. Now, once we've established a payment, every $10,000 down is $70 of savings on a payment. Add a zero to that because now we're talking in the hundreds. $100,000 down is $700 savings on a payment. Now, you're thinking, man, $700, that's a lot. Did you hear the amount that I said down? 100 G's. Yeah, I'm not real keen about that because if you're wanting to pay it off anyway, you're going to have extra resources to do so. So the payment is not really the question. It's more about what you have to do with it. So is it smarter to save $700 on the front? How about you just take that 120 once you have the house, put it down on the note and knock 10 years off the back? How about that one? Now, I am not a huge proponent of putting money on a loan after because I believe there's better things to do with it than letting that money sit there on the end of the note, which we've talked about in previous videos you can refer to about paying off a mortgage, sitting on the end of the note, not doing anything until your house is paid. But that's in another video. So there are better concepts. But as far as just putting money down versus putting it down, buy the house, put it on the note itself, you'll knock off more time because the savings versus the time's more important if you're trying to pay a house off. Now let's listen in because we just got started.
Get a reasonable house. You don't need a mansion. We got a townhome that was reasonably priced and we aggressively started attacking that mortgage. We made extra payments, and the way we got those extra payments, doing side hustles, we did no spend months, we were on a budget, we were cutting expenses, we were doing anything we could to create that margin to throw on top of that principal. That is how we paid off $165,000 in 26 months, and you want to get the right mortgage to do this. A 15-year fixed rate mortgage with a payment that's no more than a quarter of your take-home pay will set you up for success to pay off your house early.
Let's say if a $165,000 house is 25% of your income on $16,000, you're going to have a payment of probably around $1,800 on this house. 17, 18. I'm doing this off the cuff. Okay, $1,800, including taxes and insurance on this house. And if that's 25% of your income, you're making about $7,500 in income a month. Okay, so that's a pretty good amount of income here. Okay, now, but let's 26 months is quick. Let's think about that 26 months. Now, what did he say about getting the money to do it? Side hustles, cutting back, doing this, doing that. You still have to live, okay? And if you're doing a 15-year note, it jacks that payment way up. I'm going to give you a little practical life here. What if for some reason you get hurt and you can't do the side hustles and you have to go on FMLA, which means you're not working either and you're only having a percent of your income? How's that 15-year note being $500 to $600 more going to hit you? $400 more. How much is that $400 going to mean to you? So setting yourself up on a 15-year while when you're wanting to pay your house off sounds like a great idea. Is it the smartest thing to do for life circumstance? Let me do a little comparison, then we'll go back to what the topic is, getting your house paid off. A 30-year versus a 15-year note. If you know what the payment is, principal and interest on a 15-year, and you put that on a 30-year note, you may end up paying 5 or 6 months more of payments than if you had the 15-year because of the difference of the interest rate. However, the peace of mind, again, paying a mortgage off is for what purpose? peace of mind. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So the biggest peace of mind as well is making sure that your budget monthly is not so high, you're stressed out, working 3 jobs, trying to meet it to pay it off to do this. In theory, it sounds great. Truth is, what's the practical life circumstance of that? And how realistic is that for most people? What are you gonna do? Drive pizza on the side for $10 an hour, be able to, $15 an hour maybe, have to pay gas out of that, and maybe get a couple extra $100 a month to pay the mortgage off? I mean, wow, I don't know what people would do on that side hustle to do that, except for the fact that this individual works for a company that sells books and makes money that way. And the person that owns the company says, yeah, you all can do this like I did. Well, no, because you sell millions of dollars worth of products out to people that you created because you're now the supposed guru over this stuff. Who's going to be able to do that again? You just did it. I don't think there's going to be somebody else going to be able to do it like that. Not on a large percentage. Let's go back to this. Do you really want to spend 24 months sleeping 5 hours a night, having no time with your children or your wife, working 3 jobs to pay the house off? What kind of life is that? It's not. It's not. Will you have a paid off house? Yeah. Yeah. If you don't die in those 2 years, stress yourself out. I am totally in agreement with you. Should do a side hustle, something that generates income outside of your current job if you can, because there's tax benefits for that. There's money. It's like getting not free, but pretty close free money in the door for doing that. And that can go to help pay off your house. I'm still of the opinion, though, that if you take that money and you invest it, think about that $120,000. If you're only needing 160, if you got a $165,000 house that you purchased, and you put 120 down, that only leaves you $45,000 to pay. You could stick that 120 somewhere, and in 3 years, probably have enough to withdraw, pay the taxes, pay the house off, and not have a payment just like that. So there are smarter ways, and I don't recommend a 15-year only because if you're only wanting to spend 25% of your income, you had to make $8,000 for them to get that mortgage that he had. $8,000 a month. How many of us do that as a household? Maybe as a household we can do that, but as overall, it makes it challenging. So look at your monthly income. Look at it and buy a house that is reasonable for you, but don't get caught up in this rhetoric of buying a shack that you're not happy with, that you're not going to want to stay in, and paying it off, and then the market drops, and then you can't sell it for what you got in it. How happy are you going to be then? So when you're talking about paying off a mortgage, let's use concepts that work, and let's look at practical life situations, because the reason to pay off a mortgage is what? Peace of mind every time. Some people say, no, it's getting out of debt. It is getting out of debt, but what does that give you? Peace of mind. So not only peace of mind from the end result, but let's get as much peace of mind as we can get along the way. And let's live our lives. Live them. I'm not saying to go crazy. Live your life. Don't give it up. Live your life. Live within your means. Be smart. Talk to a mortgage professional like myself. We'll put the pros and cons out there of those kind of things, and then you can make the decision that you want to make on this. But please, please talk to someone that this is what they do versus someone that says, I did this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Not everybody can do it because you don't have the same life circumstances as those people. So let's work together to make things work and come up with a solution that could actually work for you and your family, to give you that peace of mind, to pay off that mortgage and still live your life. Come talk to me, Kansas Loan Man. Let's see what we can do to help you get that mortgage paid off and still live your life. See you, everybody. Hey, if you enjoyed today's video, you're going to enjoy the next one's coming too. Click here. Pow.